There's something about you, Libra, that confuses people. They can't quite explain why they feel so calm around you, yet so exposed at the same time. It's as if your energy holds a mirror to their soul, revealing their light and their shadows in one silent glance. You were never meant to blend in, you were meant to reflect. Even when you stumble, even when you doubt yourself, there's an invisible grace around you. The kind that turns small flaws into something sacred. The kind that makes others stop and stare without understanding why. You see, what you call imperfections are not cracks in your design. They're windows. Through them, your light escapes, gently illuminating the hearts of those who cross your path. You attract people, not because you are perfect, but because you feel real. Achingly, beautifully real. People may forget the words you say, but they never forget the quiet power of your presence. The way your kindness lingers in a room long after you leave. The way your empathy disarms the hardest of hearts. The way your contradictions, your softness mixed with strength, your laughter hiding old pain, make you unforgettable. Tonight, we will uncover the 8 flaws that make you magnetically beautiful. 8 things that you might have tried to fix or hide, not realizing they are the very traits that make your soul shine brighter than most. Every flaw carries a hidden blessing. Every scar tells a story heaven refuses to erase. Because when the divine sculpted you, Libra, it didn't aim for symmetry, it aimed for truth. So as you listen, open your heart. See yourself not as broken, but as art still being completed. By the end of this journey, you'll understand that your most fragile parts are the places where God chose to place his fingerprints. Before we begin, I want you to affirm it in the comments. Let the universe hear your self-acceptance. My flaws are my divine fingerprints. Type it, and let that sentence be your quiet declaration that you are done apologizing for your humanity. Because tonight, Libra, we are not hiding what's imperfect about you, we're celebrating it. Stay till the end, because the final flaw we'll reveal is the one that turns your deepest pain into unshakable power. Number 1. Your overthinking heart. Your mind is a garden that never stops blooming, Libra. Even in silence, thoughts grow like vines, wrapping around every memory, every conversation, every possibility. You don't just hear what people say, you hear the tone behind their words, the pauses between sentences, the emotions they tried to hide. And while others move through life without a second thought, you carry the weight of every thought. You want things to make sense, not just to the mind, but to the heart. You replay events not because you enjoy pain, but because you crave understanding. You long to know why something felt off, or why something beautiful ended too soon. People call it overthinking, but what it truly is depth. It's your soul trying to read the hidden messages that most overlook. It's your spirit tracing the outlines of every emotion, looking for truth where others see only fragments. You see, Libra, your overthinking is not chaos, it's compassion. It's your way of caring too much in a world that often cares too little. You overanalyze because you don't want to hurt anyone, not even unintentionally. You examine every word you said, wondering if it came out too sharp. You remember every look someone gave you, wondering if they were hiding sadness behind their smile. And even when you walk away, you keep the echoes of that moment in your heart, until it finally feels right to release it. But here's the divine secret. What you call overthinking is often the language of intuition. Your spirit speaks softly, and because you feel deeply, you take the time to listen. That's why you sense danger before it happens. That's why you recognize dishonesty without proof. That's why your energy withdraws long before your mind understands why. This is not a flaw. It's divine sensitivity disguised as restlessness. It's what separates you from the noise of the world. And yes, there are days it feels heavy. There are nights when your thoughts won't stop racing, when peace feels far away. But even in those moments, the universe watches proudly. Because it knows your overthinking is how you translate divine balance into human form. You are a thinker, but also a feeler. And that combination is sacred. People may never understand how much you wrestle within before making a choice. They don't see how many layers you explore before you give your final yes or no. But that's why your words carry weight. That's why your presence brings calm. Because when you finally decide, you do so from a place of truth, not impulse. Your overthinking heart is not a weakness, it's a compass. It doesn't lead you in circles, it leads you home. To clarity, to peace, to divine precision. So the next time someone tells you that you think too much, smile gently. Because they don't know that your thoughts are not random storms, they're prayers in motion, searching for light. You don't overthink because you're lost. You overthink because you care about finding meaning in a world that has forgotten how to feel. And that, Libra, is one of the most beautiful things about you. Number 2. Your people-pleasing nature. You care too much, don't you, Libra? You notice when someone's mood changes, even if they say, "I'm fine." You can't stand to see tension in the air, so you stretch yourself, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically, just to keep the peace. You bend, you adjust, you soften your tone, all in the name of harmony. You give chances long after others would have walked away. And when someone you love is hurting, you take it personally, as if it's your responsibility to make them whole again. They call it weakness. They say you care too much. But they don't see the sacred truth underneath. Your people-pleasing isn't about control, it's about healing. You were born with a heart that believes love can repair what anger destroys. And so, even when it costs you energy, you still choose kindness over confrontation. When others speak harshly, you stay gentle. When they turn away, you remain patient. You have this quiet belief that love, when given sincerely, will find its way back, even if not today, even if not from the same person. That's not naive, Libra. That's divine endurance. You don't crave validation, you crave connection. You just want everyone around you to feel safe, to breathe easy when they're near you. That's why you often become the emotional anchor in groups. You're the listener, the comforter, the bridge that keeps broken hearts from drifting too far apart. But here's the part you rarely see. Your tendency to please isn't just about others, it's also a reflection of your inner empathy. You felt pain before, and you promised yourself no one else should feel it if you can help it. So you absorb the discomfort, you compromise, you make peace, even when no one thanks you for it. Yes, it drains you sometimes. Yes, you wish someone would care for you the same way you care for them. But still, you give. Because giving is your nature. Not out of duty, but out of spiritual generosity. Your soul carries an ancient knowing. That kindness, even when unnoticed, sends ripples far beyond what the eye can see. Every time you choose peace over pride, you become a quiet teacher in disguise. You show others that gentleness is not weakness, it's control. That forgiveness doesn't mean you've lost, it means your heart refused to harden. Libra, your flaw becomes a silent sermon. Without saying a word, you remind this noisy world that compassion still matters. That love, the pure, patient kind, is still possible. So the next time you feel small for caring too deeply, remember, the world only heals because of souls like yours. You are not a people pleaser. You are a peacekeeper in disguise. And that's one of the rarest forms of beauty the universe ever made. Number 3, your indecision. They say you can't decide, Libra, that you linger too long at the crossroads, that you hesitate, second guess, and question what should be simple. But what they don't understand is that your hesitation is not confusion. It's care. You see every side of the story. You don't just look at what's in front of you, you sense what lies beneath it. You read energy before action. You feel motives before words. You sense the ripple effects that others ignore. When you stand between choices, it's not because you're lost, it's because you know that every decision carries energy, and energy shapes destiny. You don't want to choose out of fear or impulse. You want to choose out of peace. And peace takes time to find. To others, your pause feels like delay, but to the universe, your stillness is alignment. Because what you call waiting is often your soul whispering, "Not yet." You're not slow, Libra. You're sacredly cautious. You refuse to move until your spirit agrees with your mind. And that's rare. In a world where people rush for quick outcomes, you wait for divine timing to speak. You know that once a decision leaves your lips, it carries your entire vibration, and that's something you don't take lightly. You've learned that rushing leads to regret, so you'd rather take a little longer and feel peace in your chest than rush and spend years fixing what could have been prevented. That is wisdom, not weakness. Your indecision often frustrates those who live on impulse, but it secretly fascinates them too, because even in your uncertainty, there's grace. You have this calmness that says, I'm not sure yet, but I will be when the time is right. And somehow that assurance makes others trust your eventual choice even more. You see, your indecision is not about being unsure of yourself. It's about listening to the conversation happening between your heart and your intuition. You feel the push and pull of energy before it takes shape. You can sense when something looks perfect on the surface, but carries a shadow underneath. That's why you pause. That's why you think. That's why you wait. Because your soul doesn't want just any path. It wants the right one. You want choices that will bring peace to your future self, not just pleasure to your present. And that's what makes you wise beyond your years. Libra, when you finally choose, your decisions echo for years. They don't fade with time. They carry purpose, balance, and meaning. You walk forward slowly, but your footsteps leave permanent marks. So the next time someone calls you indecisive, remember this. You are not uncertain, you are attuned. You are not stuck, you are aligning. You are not afraid, you are waiting for truth to arrive. Because your indecision isn't confusion. It's your soul waiting for divine timing to speak. And when it finally does, your choice becomes peace made visible. Number 4, your emotional sensitivity. You feel everything, Libra. The shift in someone's tone, the sadness behind a smile, the tremor in silence. You sense it all before a single word is spoken. Your heart picks up what the eyes cannot see. You walk into a room and instantly feel the energy, the hidden tension, the quiet joy, the heavy sadness no one dares to mention. Sometimes it overwhelms you. You carry emotions that don't even belong to you. You absorb pain from the people you love, trying to lighten their load without them realizing. And when the weight becomes too heavy, you retreat. Not because you don't care, but because you care too deeply. You need space to breathe, to process, to empty what your heart has collected. But sensitivity, Libra, is not weakness. It's a spiritual antenna tuned to the frequency of truth. It's how your soul navigates a world that often hides behind masks. While others walk through life half-aware, you absorb it all. The beauty, the ache, the whispers between words. You see people's souls before they speak. You recognize heartbreak behind forced laughter, love behind indifference, exhaustion behind strength. You can read emotions as if they were written in the air. And though that gift makes you fragile at times, it also makes you unforgettable. Because you don't just exist in people's lives, you touch them. Those who cross your path may forget your words, but they never forget how your energy made them feel. Seen, understood, safe. You have a way of reminding others of their own humanity. Your empathy becomes a mirror that reflects who they are beneath the noise and performance. That's what makes you rare, Libra. Your softness doesn't mean you're naive. It means you still believe in love even after seeing how cruel the world can be. It means you still open your heart, knowing it might get hurt, because you understand that feeling deeply is the only way to live truthfully. Yes, your sensitivity can exhaust you. There are nights when you wish you could switch it off. When every emotion feels too loud, every memory too vivid. But what you don't see is how sacred this sensitivity truly is. It's the reason you connect so effortlessly with others. It's the reason strangers feel safe confiding in you, even when you've just met. It's the reason broken hearts find comfort in your silence. Your energy doesn't just observe, it heals. You bring light into spaces where hope feels lost, simply by being present. You notice what others ignore, and that awareness alone can change everything for someone. So don't curse your sensitivity, Libra. Honor it, protect it, cherish it. It's not your burden, it's your divine gift. It's what makes your love powerful, your compassion limitless, and your presence unforgettable. Because the world doesn't need more people who are strong in appearance, but numb in spirit. It needs souls like yours, open, gentle, intuitive, alive. Your emotional sensitivity is not something to hide. It's the quiet proof that even in a loud world, hearts like yours still feel the truth. And that is what makes you truly magnetic. Number 5. Your need for beauty. You're accused of being vain sometimes, Libra, of caring too much about how things look, how things feel, how the world around you is arranged. But the truth runs much deeper than anyone realizes. You don't crave beauty for approval. You crave it for balance. For you, beauty isn't about decoration. It's about peace. A clean room, a soft candle glow, a gentle melody, or the way sunlight falls evenly across your space. These aren't small things to you. They are nourishment. Your spirit feeds on harmony the way lungs feed on air. You need calm surroundings to think clearly. You need soft colors to breathe freely. You need beauty, not because you're superficial, but because beauty restores what the world takes from you. Every Libra carries this inner pull toward refinement, not out of vanity, but as a form of spiritual alignment. You see, your eyes aren't just drawn to what's pretty. They're drawn to what feels right. When you fix something crooked, or adjust the lighting, or match colors just right, you're not chasing perfection. You're creating equilibrium. It's how your soul says, now everything makes sense again. That's why chaos unsettles you so deeply. Loud voices, harsh tones, disorganization, they disturb your peace, not because you're fragile, but because you were born to translate disorder into grace. Beauty to you is a kind of language, one that the universe whispers through symmetry, color, and rhythm. You hear it everywhere, in laughter that feels genuine, in a face lit with kindness, in the quiet order of nature after rain. People are drawn to your eye for aesthetics because it awakens serenity in them. They may not know why they feel calm around you, but your presence subtly rearranges the energy in a room. You notice small details others overlook: a flower out of place, a mood slightly off, a word spoken too sharply, and you correct it gently, bringing back the harmony without fanfare. And that's what makes you magnetic. Because through your so-called flaw for perfection, the universe expresses art. Your desire for things to feel right is the same force that guides painters, musicians, and poets, the sacred instinct to make beauty visible in a world that often forgets it exists. So no, Libra, you are not obsessed with beauty. You are its guardian. You carry it everywhere, in your words, in your spaces, in your gestures, even in your silence. You protect it like a fragile flame in a storm. And that's why people remember you. They remember how peaceful your energy felt. They remember how you made their chaos feel softer, how your touch, whether literal or emotional, added gentleness where there was once imbalance. Your need for beauty is not a flaw. It's a form of prayer. Your way of thanking creation by keeping it beautiful. It's your quiet contribution to a world that desperately needs softness. So don't apologize for wanting things to look and feel right. That longing is sacred. Because when others rush through life blind to harmony, you stop, you see, you feel, you realign. And through you, Libra, the universe reminds us that beauty isn't vanity, it's divine order made visible. Number 6. Your desire to be understood. You hate misunderstandings, Libra. Few things trouble your spirit more than being misread or misjudged. When someone twists your intentions, it doesn't just frustrate you, it hurts. Because for you, truth isn't just something to speak, it's something you live by. You replay conversations in your mind, word by word, tone by tone. You wonder if you said too much or too little. You write long messages trying to explain yourself, not because you crave attention, but because you genuinely want peace. You want people to see you, to understand that your heart never meant harm, that your silence wasn't coldness, that your distance wasn't disinterest. But Libra, that longing to be understood reveals something most people miss. Your emotional honesty. You don't manipulate, you communicate. You don't hide behind pride, you clarify with humility. You want every soul connected to you to know where you stand, because your conscience won't allow you to let things remain blurry. In a world where people run from accountability, your willingness to explain, to apologize, to listen, that's a superpower disguised as a flaw. It takes courage to say, maybe I could have handled that better. It takes emotional intelligence to ask, did I hurt you without realizing it? It takes grace to care that deeply about how your presence affects others. You are not obsessed with being right. You are obsessed with being understood. Because to you, understanding is connection. When someone finally gets you, when they see your heart behind your words, that's when you feel safe. And that's what your spirit longs for. Safety in truth. You see, this desire to be understood isn't weakness. It's proof that you love with awareness. You want love to be mutual, communication to be clear, and energy to flow both ways. You don't settle for half-truths or silent resentment. You chase clarity because you know confusion kills connection. And even though it can drain you, even though people sometimes call you too emotional or too serious, your intention is pure. You just want peace. You just want honesty. You just want love that doesn't require guessing games. People often overlook how rare that is. Most avoid uncomfortable conversations. You face them with compassion. Most shut down when tension rises. You open up, searching for common ground. And while that might make you seem overly sensitive, it actually shows strength. The strength to prioritize healing over ego. Your desire to be understood is your soul's way of saying, I value truth. I value connection. I value love that listens. So don't feel ashamed when you explain yourself one more time, or when you try to fix what others have carelessly broken. That's not you being needy, that's you being pure. Because at the end of the day, your clarity brings peace to hearts that didn't even know they needed it. Your ability to speak truth with tenderness makes you unforgettable. And that, Libra, that rare blend of transparency and grace, is one of the quietest, most powerful forms of love in existence. Number 7. Your fear of conflict. You avoid confrontation like fire, Libra. When tension rises, your instinct isn't to fight, it's to preserve peace. You'd rather swallow pain than start a war. You'd rather walk away in silence than speak words that can't be taken back. To some, that makes you seem weak. But in truth, it makes you wise. You understand something the world often forgets, that anger doesn't always solve problems, and not every battle deserves your energy. You know that words can scar deeper than weapons. You've seen how voices raised in pride can burn bridges that took years to build. And so instead of meeting fire with fire, you choose calm. Instead of matching chaos, you embody stillness. Your fear of conflict isn't avoidance, it's memory. It's your soul remembering lifetimes of chaos, lifetimes where peace was a rare treasure and balance had to be protected at all costs. That's why even now, you do everything you can to keep harmony intact. You sense tension before it fully forms. You feel the shift in energy when someone's heart hardens. And quietly, almost invisibly, you try to soften the air again. You hold back words not because you don't have a voice, but because you understand the power of it. You know one wrong sentence, one moment of pride, can undo love, trust, and understanding. So you think carefully. You measure tone, timing, and intention. And sometimes that restraint makes people misunderstand you. They think you're detached. They think you're passive. But really, you're protecting something sacred, peace. You see, Libra, you were born with an inner compass that points toward equilibrium. You crave unity, not division. And though your silence often costs you, though it makes others believe you don't care, deep down, you know you're preserving what truly matters. The connection, the love, the lesson. But here's the part they rarely see. When you are finally pushed to your limit, when someone mistakes your calm for weakness, something sacred awakens within you. Your voice, once soft and measured, becomes commanding. It carries truth. Pure, steady, undeniable truth. Because when the peacemaker speaks, the room listens. Your words, when finally released, hold divine authority. They don't come from ego, they come from understanding. They don't destroy, they reveal. And that's what makes your energy unforgettable. You don't fight to win, you speak to heal. You don't argue to prove a point, you express to restore balance. Even in conflict, your spirit seeks reconciliation. And when you do walk away, it's never out of defeat, it's out of wisdom. You know that sometimes silence screams louder than anger ever could. So don't be ashamed of your gentle nature, Libra. It's not cowardice, it's consciousness. It's the awareness that peace is the highest form of power. And while others may shout to be heard, you have learned the art of listening, the rare ability to keep calm in the storm. Because deep within you lives an ancient truth. Not every battle deserves a warrior. Some deserve a healer. And that, Libra, is exactly what you are. Number 8. Your forgiving spirit. This is your most powerful flaw, Libra. You forgive too easily. You let people back in after they've broken your heart. You give second chances when others wouldn't even offer one. And sometimes that kindness leaves scars, deep ones. But here's the mystery. Your forgiveness doesn't make you foolish, it makes you free. You refuse to let bitterness live rent-free in your spirit. You understand something sacred, that resentment is a prison built by pride, and you were never meant to live inside walls like that. While others carry bitterness like armor, you choose release. You would rather feel light and vulnerable than heavy and vengeful. You've learned that revenge might feel powerful for a moment, but forgiveness, that is how angels heal. Each time you forgive, something divine shifts around you. You close one karmic door and open a new path blessed by grace. You stop the cycle of pain right where it tried to continue through you. Because forgiveness, Libra, isn't weakness, it's spiritual warfare done in silence. It takes strength to stay soft in a world that rewards hardness. It takes courage to love again after betrayal. It takes divine maturity to say, "You hurt me, but I won't let your darkness live in me." You see, forgiveness isn't about saying what they did was okay. It's about saying, "I choose peace over poison." It's you telling the universe, "I trust divine justice more than my anger." And heaven listens every time. You've probably been told you're too forgiving, too lenient, too quick to forget. But the truth is, your heart was built for healing, not holding grudges. You were born with a soul that understands that everyone is learning, stumbling, and breaking in their own ways. And sometimes, the only medicine that works is grace. And even though forgiveness doesn't always bring people back, it always brings you forward. Every time you release what was done to you, you rise higher, lighter, clearer. Your energy glows differently. Your peace becomes unshakable. People may never understand how you can smile at those who hurt you. But that's because they don't realize your forgiveness isn't for them, it's for your own freedom. You're not naive, you're wise enough to know that carrying pain only keeps you connected to it. So you let go, quietly, gracefully, and that's how you keep your spirit pure. Your flaw, Libra, is heaven's favorite trait about you. Because your softness keeps the world gentle. Your grace keeps love alive in places where it should have died. And your forgiveness keeps light flowing where darkness tried to take over. Never see your compassion as a weakness. It's your divine signature. The universe trusts you with heavy hearts because it knows you'll handle them gently. And every time you choose to forgive, you become a living reminder that mercy is still stronger than pain. So yes, Libra, you forgive too easily. But that ease is the mark of your evolution. The proof that your heart belongs not to this world, but to something higher. Because in a world obsessed with revenge, your ability to forgive is not your flaw, it's your halo. So now you see, Libra, you were never meant to be flawless. You were never created to live a life of perfect edges or spotless choices. You were meant to be balanced in imperfection, a divine paradox of grace and gravity, softness and strength, silence and depth. Your flaws are not mistakes in design, they are brushstrokes in the masterpiece that is you. Each scar, each hesitation, each emotion that others once called too much, they are part of the divine art the universe painted when it created your soul. Every line tells a story. Every shadow has purpose. You were never meant to fit neatly into anyone's idea of perfection. You were meant to remind the world that light shines brighter when it passes through cracks. You are proof that broken can still be beautiful, that healing can still be magnetic. When someone truly loves you, Libra, they don't fall for your perfection. They fall for your contradictions, your quiet chaos, your gentle strength, your soulful silence. They fall for the way you love with both caution and fire. the way you balance kindness with truth, the way you carry peace even when your own heart is trembling. Those contradictions, those human, fragile, divine parts of you, are what make you unforgettable. They show the world that balance isn't about always being steady. It's about learning to sway gracefully with life's rhythm, even when the song changes. So the next time you feel unworthy, remember this truth. The light that attracts the world to you shines through your cracks. It's the very places you once tried to hide that now radiate the most authenticity. Because your imperfections aren't flaws, they are proof of your becoming. They are the golden lines that tell the story of your growth, your lessons, your love. The universe did not make you to be perfect. It made you to be real. And in your realness, you awaken hearts that have forgotten how to feel. So if this message touched your spirit, type in the comments, "My flaws are my divine power." Let the universe hear your self-acceptance echo across the stars. Let heaven witness your decision to love yourself completely, not in spite of your imperfections, but because of them. Stay radiant, Libra. You are the living example of beauty born from balance. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, because your journey doesn't end here. There are more divine truths waiting for you, more reminders from the universe that you were never broken. You are simply being refined. You are the flawed masterpiece. And that, Libra, is what makes your light eternal.